we'll start with Harold. I think it's recording. Yes, go ahead. Oh, wonderful. I'm going to edit, so don't worry if there's weird sounds, I'll cut them out.
The late Harold Washington, who became the first African-American mayor in Chicago, and that was quite an achievement, grew up on the south side of Chicago, went to Forestville Elementary School, and then briefly to Wendell Phillips as the new building, later to be called DuSable, was being built, and then transferred to DuSable High School, where he went to school and graduated from DuSable in 1939. He was in World War II and served in the Pacific. When he returned home, following in the steps of his father, who was a notable lawyer, he went back to school, and I first began to know him well at Roosevelt College, later become Roosevelt University in Chicago. He was the leader of the Young Democrats for the whole state of Illinois for many years. After graduating from Roosevelt, he then entered law school. At Roosevelt, though the school was very dominantly Caucasian, he became the leader of the student council at Roosevelt, which was phenomenal in those days. Then when he graduated from Roosevelt, I believe in the years of 1947 or 48, he then went to Northwestern University Law School, where he graduated from the law school. He then went into the politics, and with friends of his, he was encouraged to run for the state legislature, where he became a prominent state legislator as a state representative and later as a state senator. In 1979, he was persuaded to run for the office in the 1st Congressional District as United States Congressman, where he won. And then was a very prominent congressman, though a freshman congressman, who was persuaded by the Speaker of the House to do campaigning to extend the Voter Rights Act that had been enacted earlier, and he was successful in doing so. In 1982, in 1979, at time, he ran for the mayor's, after Mayor Richard J. Daley died, for the mayor's position because of the overwhelming control of the Democratic Party. He was unable to be victorious at that time. But in 1982, after Mayor Jane Byrne had failed to be the kind of mayor that her liberal voters, had thought she would be, Harold Washington was persuaded to run for the mayoralty. He was aided a great deal by prominent business people like Edward Gardner, whose wife was a graduate of DuSable High School, and others like John H. Johnson, a graduate of DuSable High School, who were successful business people. He was persuaded to run. The funds were raised. The people, the younger people, particularly young students from DuSable, to persuade their older relatives to get out and vote. And they did. And Harold Washington became the first African-American mayor of the city of Chicago.